Hey guys, wanted to go over my little wish list for this upcoming patch whenever it finally comes out. We've been waiting since I think December 18th was the last patch, right before Christmas, and obviously the game has had a little bit of a rough and tumble spot with everybody not being too happy with the state of Magic Find and everything. But I want to kind of go away from the negative and see a little bit of a hopeful side. So I guess first thing on that list, Elemental Expression. So this skill right here, and Scatter Them to the Winds, this is everything that I wanted when I was first making this character. Right now, Elemental Expression, the issue with it is that it's a spell with a bit of a cooldown and a big mana cost. So the spell itself, Elemental Expression, does not really do much damage. It's hundreds of damage, so it just doesn't really work out nicely with how my build is, with the big chunk of intelligence and high attribute stacking. You'd think it would be casting most of them out, but it's almost entirely the ice waves. They seem like they'd be good with projectiles, pierce all targets, and fire 3, but I went really hard on this. I put like wild shards and whatever the other one is that gives you more projectiles, and I gave it chaining, and I can't remember everything else I put in, but I really spec'd into this to make it seem great, and it just unfortunately wasn't there, but it has a lot of potential. Please GGG, just make it an attack instead of a spell, and oh, it would be nice. That would be such a beautiful skill. And yeah, second thing, I have definitely spec'd into it. Magic Find, the rarity. I am not a fan of rarity on gear. I've never been a fan of rarity on gear, and I don't think I'll ever be a fan of rarity on gear. But if you're not using it, you're nerfing yourself right now. I like the idea of rarity. I like the idea of juicing your waystones and your maps, your towers, to get extra rarity on the maps. This is fun, this is good. I would love it if you guys transferred the way rarity is right now to put it on the towers, waystones that way, and just buff the base stuff. If you have no rarity, it was like at what we are right now, say 50%, but then you put 100% rarity and it does the equivalent to what 50% is now. Oh, that would be amazing. Gives everybody a little bit of extra something something, and then continue letting people just boost their maps with the Waystone and the towers. I feel like that is a great middle ground that would make everybody really happy. It would be a lot of work because we got so many rarity based items, but I mean, this is early access. This is the time to change some things, to try some new things, and honestly, if you did that little bit of a shake-up, I think it'd be fantastic for the game. I know other people seem to think it might have bad ramifications for the economy, but if we ever get a crafting bench, that'd fix the economy. Which takes me to the next point. Crafting bench! Please, please, please. I want a crafting bench so bad. I am willing to wait on the new characters until there's like a new season coming out. I'd be very happy to. I would, and this is coming from the guy who wants nothing more than to play a Javazon and run down this tree here with all the spears and javelins, all that jazz. I want to do a PoE 2 Javazon, recreate the Diablo 2 days. It would be great, but it's not too big of a deal if it doesn't happen for a little while. I feel like the other things could get more attention first. The classes that we have now are pretty great. I'm pretty sure there's nobody out here who has done a full build on every single class with every single ascension. There's still a lot of variety for people to try, but I'm sure somebody might disagree with me, but those are my take, that's my thoughts. Next thing. Oh, today especially it's been bad. My computer hasn't crashed because engine multi-threading. I'm not going in and out of maps here, but when it's on, it's a good thing I checked because I might have went through this portal and crashed my computer. But when it's on, it has a very big tendency to crashing computers, and it's not a me thing, it is kind of a widespread thing. A lot of people have had this issue where it seems to crash the processors on a lot of computers, the CPUs, and I've also noticed sitting around in here, I think they might have done some changes because I've noticed the game coming to a complete halt while just sitting here in base. It's something that has never happened before, but there is maintenance on their site right now, so I think they're doing some work. And that's potentially messing with this issue as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they're fixing it right now. I would love that. I'd be super happy. Next one on the list. Apparently there's been a lot of Savestate Cheaters. They have fixed a few of the issues, but Temporalis is the one that everybody knows about. That one's been farmed and duplicated and completely flooded on the market. Well, it's nice that it's cheaper right now because of it. There's also the issue that it's just not fun if everybody's trying to cheat a game like this. Like, granted, in Diablo 2 days, I did almost entirely solo self-found, not because I wanted to, but because I didn't have internet at the time. And then as soon as I had the opportunity to do internet, I thought trading around with people was an amazing perk. But if you have people scamming the system, it kind of devalues everything and makes it less fun, less interesting. It feels like a business instead of, you know, a game that we're supposed to enjoy. Don't take it too seriously, guys. Just work towards the fun stuff, enjoy yourself, don't cheat. Next thing on the list, freezing and stun thresholds. Kind of a problem. I've been looking into it quite a bit, and I've gotten these stun threshold jewels. They're doing a lot. I found out CI, the main reason why it nerfs your stun threshold so much, it doesn't bring it to 0 like I originally thought. It brings it down to whatever your health would be before you put in CI. So for example, I got 1400 life as stun threshold, and then with these extra energy as stun thresholds, it gives me an extra 2000 something. It's still not the best feeling when you get smacked around by mobs all the time, but that's just one little tweak that can make things better. People want to go and stomp, stomp, stomp. They don't want to get pushed back by the Delirium mobs. This is a very easy fix for GGG to do. Just a couple of percent damage numbers change and people are going to be feeling very smooth, very satisfied with their builds in a very short amount of time. I very much so believe they will be doing this, and I am hopeful because everybody wants to enjoy the game. Nobody wants to feel like you're doing a Taxis simulator trying to figure out every little weakness. There's a lot of things that I love to fix. I love fixing like the ES. I love fixing the resistances, getting the attributes balanced. All that's fun. But when it starts getting a little too much, GGG will know that it's getting a little bloated. That's why they made this one, and they're trying to cut back on the bloat. I think this is one that they're going to cut back on. It's going to feel really good really soon. Next one on the list, further reduce on-death effects. This last patch was fantastic because of all the reduce on-death effects, but there's still so many. There's so many. That's the reason why I have this monster energy shield now. I was tired of dying to on-death effects. I think it was like 3000 health and 3000 energy shield, and I was still dying all the time. Now with this and Grim Feast, boop boop boop, right here, I'm getting like 15,000 energy shield at times. That's why I'm often swapping back and forth between Unbound Avatar and Meditate. It's very satisfying to not just die to things all the time. Like if you're sitting there on the ground, you're clicking boop boop boop, picking up your loot, it's the worst way to die, and I know GGG sees this. They've already taken action towards it. They're going to see that it's still not quite there, and it's going to be feeling a lot better. It's my wish list because I don't think it may happen immediately, but I'm quite confident it's going to be happening soon. Well, before release, let's just say. Next item, Delirium and Ritual Rewards. So, I have done well over 100 Deliriums. I hammer them as much as I can. I get a few Delirium maps, but I notice when I do these Delirium maps, I actually get fewer splinters than if I just do Delirium here. So despite hitting them every time I see them, I'm only at 169 splinters, and I haven't had a single simulacrum yet. So again, it's just a simple tweak, a couple of extra splinters per mob, so instead of dropping 1, it drops 3. Oh, it feels so much better. But even still, instead of just 1 mob dropping it in the entire map, make it 10 mobs in the entire map. So if you got, say, 30 splinters in an entire Delirium map, that wouldn't feel bad at all. The only reason why it's even an issue to bring up is because we could do an entire 21% or 36% or 20 whatever percent. I use this one and this one usually, so whatever that percent is. You don't want to leave there with 3 splinters. You want to leave there with 30 to 50. And if we could get that, oh, chef's kiss, it'd be feel great. I still so much want to do simulacrums. I loved it in Path of Exile 1, and I know right now my build isn't the best for doing it because I need to up a little bit of cold damage, but I could easily do that if I took off my Magic Find rings. Not too sure if Magic Find works on it, and honestly, if they fix Magic Find so that's not as important, I just take it right off and use my big rings with big cold damage, and it would be great against the Deliriums. So, and on top of that, these rituals. I got 3 of these because I spent 14 divines to get these 2. Then after spending 14 whole divines to get 2 invitations, I found 1 so far afterwards. They're just a little bit too rare, a little bit too hard to get. The ritual rewards are also a little bit but as long as we can get just a little bit more common place drops of the omens, of the good omens, not the ones that give your alchemy orbs a chance to be able suffixes or to refill your potions, then ritual would feel 100 times better, again in just a very small tweak. It doesn't need much, just a very small tweak, and people would be loving rituals in a second. It's already a really fun content. It can be kind of difficult when you get stuck in a rat storm, or if you get pushed around by the blood waves, or hit by those purple things and they pop you, but again, early access, so they'll get it. I'm certain they're gonna get it, and I mean, on that same vein as well, the essences. I do not see many essences at all. I have an essence tab from Path of Exile 1. It's weird how few of them, like how few of these greater essences drop, and even how rare it seems for normal essences to come in maps. I mean, sure, I could have this to make it 10% more chance to contain an essence, but that's still only 1 in 10 maps. If it was maps have a 100% chance to contain an essence, I'd probably spec through all this, and instead of 15% chance to have 2 additional essences, just say have 2 additional essences. I'd come down here all day. I like essences. It's really fun. They're a great part of crafting, and well, it looks like trade's back up and they still haven't fixed the old stuff being available, because this has been sold for many hours, many hours. It's been sold since about 8 in the morning, and it's about 6 p.m. now, so. But anyways, that's essences, that's rituals, that's deliriums. Next guy on the list. Well, expeditions. Yeah, that one's a little bit harder. I'm not too sure what they're gonna have to change with expeditions. The logbooks don't seem to come up all that often. I've seen some people, once they get all the way down for the effective remnants and the additional prefix suffix, it seems to feel pretty good. It's unfortunately you'd have to do this because you have to miss out on getting the number of explosives 1. This is an extremely great quality of life bomb to have. It makes everything faster, smoother, easier. I like this a lot, but if I needed to come up here to get the extra logbooks and down here to have the suffixes and prefix so that you can actually get logbooks, that's kind of sad. Maybe make this out of 10, make the boss level 83. I would just, whatever you need to do, please let me get this. But as it stands, the boss is a little bit too rare to be coming out and available. I don't know how many of these I've done, and I've only seen 2 bosses. I've done every expedition that has ever come up on my map, and done every logbook I've gotten. I haven't sold any, and I found 2 bosses, and I am level 95, and
what is it?
that just seems a little bit rare. I guess obviously the easiest way to go through this is make the first level or two of Breach and of Expedition and Delirium and Ritual, all that, not be tied to the Pinnacle bosses, make it tied to the actual shrines. Maybe you have to do like level 80 shrine, then level 82 shrine, or maybe 82 then 84. That would probably fit it a lot, because putting 14 divines just get these two, maybe if it was the last two it would feel a little better, but I don't know, just it being so hard to find the logbooks, being so hard to find the invitations, the audience of the kings, being so hard to get the rituals. The splinters feel good because I got huge density, many more breaches, more density, and more splinters. This actually feels good. These guys, and these guys, just be balanced more like Breach. Don't nerf Breach. Breach is in a great place. Keep Breach just the way it is. Even revert Breach. My build can handle old Breach. I would like old Breach, but either way, just leave it like it is and bring up Expedition, Ritual, and Delirium a little bit up more to the Breach level. I don't think anybody would complain about that. And the bossing. Map bosses, they're in a great spot. Don't touch those either, please. I love the map bosses. Map bosses feel great. They, honestly, you can have more map bosses on more maps. I want to do a map boss every map. That's how much I like map bosses. Please, please, please. That's not even on my list, but please, map bosses every map. Love it. Now I guess one that I didn't even really think about. The Citadels, I'm about to do this one right here. Where are you, my last Citadel? Well, I guess I might not be able to show it off because my map's glitched. But essentially, what happens is, whenever you do a Citadel, you'll kill every rare in the map, you'll kill the boss, everything will be done, but you won't get map completion. And so this node is forever and always saying map failed. You've completed the map, you did everything successful, you did everything right, but map failed. It super doesn't matter. Like, it's kind of a pet peeve that you can't go whoop to this guy where that pathing is. Like, maybe this here should have a pathing as well, but the fact that I could come like this and get these is not really an issue. It's just a little pet peeve. One small thing that I could fix. I don't know what's the back end thing causing the map to fail, what's going on, what maybe it's tied to how the act bosses work and it wants us to go back to, say, the main hub town and advance to the next act. They'll get that fixed, no problem, but for now, find a way to fix that, even if it's a backhanded way when the boss dies completion, even without the rares. That would be wonderful. Maps and Waystone tabs. So stash tabs, wonderful thing. I know they're still working on the map tab, but could we just have one that maybe isn't complete, but allows us to just dump all our maps and Waystones in it? Because I have went through and I have very much so smashed a bunch of these maps and Waystones on the reforging bench just to make some space. I had this entire tab full of 11s to 14 tier maps or Waystones, and luckily I found some guy who wanted to buy them for about an X for 4 maps, and I was just happy to empty it. I mean, I know I undersold based on what a lot of people would think, but I was just happy to get rid of them. And map tab would fix that, and I'm not too sure how far off you guys are, but please, please do it. We'll all be eternally grateful. Same thing with Breach catalysts. It's not too big of a deal because honestly I just go and I mass sell them to Elva whenever I get full, but that's another thing that could be put on the list. One that's going to be for everybody. Please, please, please let us remove runes. I am fine with where I am right now with my stuff, but I have empty slots on gloves just because I know I won't be able to remove it if I need to change something. And so even though I 100% could slot in like a cold res thing so that I no longer have 69% cold res with certain setups. I'm not putting it in just in case I need something else more, because what if I change my helmet or chest or boots or amulet or something? Who knows what I'm gonna need? And so it's holding a little bit of everything back. It's like, if we were able to take it out, say I needed cold res, plop this out of my boots, and I put in 2 things of all res and I'm good to go, or 1 cold res, 1 all res, everybody would be happy. Even destroy these. I don't care if I lose these crit damage bonuses. If I wanted to test different things with the weapon, I'd love to smash those out and try different things. Please, GGG, this isn't Diablo 2, we've improved. Don't make us sad with these runes. You know dang well it's a good idea to take runes and soul cores out of armor. We are happy to destroy them if that's what it takes. Just please let us reuse our rune slots. Alrighty. One that is kind of unfortunate. Mana costs. Why is dropping the bell 194 mana? This here doesn't have a cost on there, but every time I press M5, my mana bar goes from full to a quarter instantly. My basic attack could drain my mana super fast if I hadn't done everything in my power to try and minimize it, and even then it's still going pretty quick. Please, half mana costs, and instead of being 140 multiplier, make it 120. Instead of 120 multiplier, make it 110. Nobody's going to complain about this. Mana costs are just a touch too high. We want to blast. Let us blast. Now, one that I think everybody can agree with, map diversity. Probably the most common map that pops up for me is Augury, then Seepage and Mire, and unfortunately my 3 least favorite maps are Augury, Seepage, and Mire. Well, there's some of those Val ones that are pretty unfortunate too, but when I was going through and doing the map progression with the tier whatever maps to complete to make good old Doriani happy, it said unlocked favorite maps, but obviously there is no favorite maps to unlock. I don't know what happened there, but essentially the favorite maps was a lie. Sorry, just something popped in my head. I don't know why my damage is so low. It shouldn't be that low. Something's missing. I was messing around a lot and it's a little bit off. Anyways, if I could use that favorite map slot to come over here and make every single map the beautiful, beautiful Sandspit. Oh, I'd be so happy. Make everything a beach. Make it island hopping. I would love to do the whole One Piece thing and go island to island to island. Yeah, perfect right here. Just make all these Sandspit. I adore that map. There's a lot of good maps, but the ones that come full circle with a couple of points where you can actually jump from one side to the other, but not all these branching alleyways. Just no more Mire, no more Augury with the 6-second lever, no more Seepage with all the extra tunnels. Please make it not Augury. Blooming Fields is another one that comes up so much. Then right here, all these Val maps, thanks to being near Stone Citadel. Those are fine. It's near the Citadel, but oh, let me get some Sandspit and anything that isn't Augury, please. Now, there's another little one. It's kind of just me being because I am a diva. My character is looking, he's okay, but it leaves a lot to be desired. But I got all these wonderful microtransactions from Path of Exile 1. This Night Lotus helmet was my favorite. It makes your health bar turn purple. Oh, I love it. I know they just haven't designed these yet, but I'd be really looking forward to them whenever you're ready to put them in the game. I can't wait. I especially love the Night Lotus helmet, and yeah, granted, it's not so much the hat that I'm a fan of, it's the purple health bar, but please, anytime. Oh, that's probably my #1 wish, even more so than elemental expression. I just want to look pretty. There are some really pretty looking body armors, but unfortunately I've changed to something that fits my build a little better, and they're not as pretty as the other ones. And yeah, now for just a little bit of quality of life stuff, Rage. pretty much as soon as you stop attacking, like within a second it drops off. It needs to be a little bit longer. There is a node here that has inherent loss of rage, starts 1 second later. This is great. However, I feel like the 1 or 2 seconds later should be the default, and this just makes it even better. That's a personal preference, and I think everybody would agree with it because it's just a little too fast where it drops off by a second or two. Because it seems if you're not immediately attacking again, it's just gone. There is also the issue with the trade site. Still not quite being tweaked up yet. Some uniques you can't be searching for. For example, there's unique that allows you to get jewels around, or allot things around certain keystones. You could anoint or allot around any of these keystones, and it's a pretty great spot for a jewel. They're very expensive, very rare, hard to get. But the worst part about it is that when you get one and you're trying to sell it, or if you're trying to buy one from somebody else, you can't even search for it. It's very weird. It's very weird. And they have it already in the PoE 1 trade site, so it's some copy and paste code that just didn't quite make it over. And other than that, I guess the very last thing I have on my list is a target dummy. This has been asked for about 10 years by the PoE community. I know Jonathan's finally said that he's getting kind of open to it, but ooh, if I could just drop a target dummy where the tree is, smack it, and see what kind of damage numbers I'm doing, that would make me a very, very happy boy. Please, target dummy. I think that's the last of my wish list items. It's a pretty good sheet of paper full of wish list items, but please, please, please. All of these would make the game a big step up, and this is already a pretty big telling since this is my favorite game out right now. I've completely destroyed this game. I've no-lifed it. I have enjoyed the hell out of this, and please help me enjoy it even more. Honestly, maybe don't put them in because I'll just never have a life again. Alrighty, that's all. You guys have a great day. Please, GGG if you're listening, put at least some of these things in. Until then, see you later.